Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. Presidents of Guyana and Venezuela to meet in St. Vincent and the Grenadines on Thursday. This story takes the lead in today's edition of Caribbean Perspective for Monday, 11th December 2023. Brought to you in association with our friends at Antillean Group. Details when we return.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all, perils big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's a service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Welcome back. Guyana's President Irfan Ali and Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro have agreed to meet with each other in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The meeting is to take place on Thursday of this week. TV6's Alicia Boucher has an exclusive interview with St. Vincent Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves.
President of Guyana Irfan Ali and President of Venezuela Nicolas Maduro have answered a call for a meeting by the Community of States of Latin America and the Caribbean Community, which is set to take place in St. Vincent and the Grenadines on Thursday, December 14th at 10 a.m. The meeting is to address the ongoing border controversy over the Essequibo region. Prime Minister of SVG Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, who is pro tempore president of CELAC, highlights that in addition to CELAC and CARICOM, which is chaired by Dominica's President Roosevelt Skerrit, both leaders have requested Brazil's President Luiz Ignacio be present, and a letter of invitation has been sent out. In a letter to Ali and Maduro, Dr. Gonsalves outlines that both leaders have committed to the Caribbean as a zone of peace and international law. In an interview with TV6 News, Dr. Gonsalves tells us structured dialogue between the two leaders on the border conflict is something he has been working on for 10 weeks now.
It's always better when people have a conflict for them to talk. And talk respectfully to each other so that we could avoid further escalation into dangerous levels of the conflict. These discussions are clearly without prejudice.
Dr. Gonsalves notes the different positions taken by both leaders in addressing the conflict. Guyana through the International Court of Justice and Venezuela, which doesn't subscribe to the ICJ. He says Venezuela is not the only country in the world with that position concerning the ICJ.
But the jurisdiction for the ICJ here has evolved in a particular manner. And Guyana is pursuing that particular course. But people must talk when they have conflict. If you don't talk, you're more likely to fight. And I am hopeful that the modalities would be put in place for continued face-to-face dialogue.
Dr. Gonsalves says he doesn't know all of the opportunities that would present themselves during those discussions. However, President Ali's office has outlined in a statement that Guyana's land boundary is not up for discussion as it is currently before the ICJ, and when adjudicated will be fully respected by Guyana. And this case before the ICJ will not be an issue for bilateral discussions.
It may well be that the president of Venezuela would feel that he has an obligation to raise that issue. But those are matters for these two esteemed leaders who are very mature, they're wise, respectful of each other. And let's see what the discussion yields.
Alicia Boucher, TV6 News.
In a tragic incident, the Guyana Defense Force suffered the loss of 5 of its most experienced and decorated service members in a helicopter crash. Travis Chase of HGP Nightly News provides a comprehensive report on this devastating event. detailing the circumstances of the crash, the recovery operations, and its impact on the Guyana Defence Force and the nation.
The Guyana Defence Force announced on Thursday the deaths of 5 servicemen killed during a helicopter crash on Wednesday, December 6, 2023. The Bell helicopter bearing registration marking ARAYA was on a command mission under the command of Colonel Shahood to visit troops on Guyana's western border when it crashed. The deceased are Lieutenant Colonel Michael Charles, commanding officer of the 1st Infantry Battalion, Colonel Michael Shahood, retired Brigadier Gary Beaton, Lieutenant Colonel Sean Welcome, and Staff Sergeant Jason Khan. The helicopter went missing about 30 miles east of Arao, Essequibo County, near the border with Venezuela. During an emergency press conference on Wednesday, Chief of Staff of the Guyana Defence Force, Brigadier Umar Khan, told media operatives that the search for the men on Wednesday had to be called off because of inclement weather. The Chief of Staff spoke candidly when asked about the decision to send 7 most experienced men at once on that command mission.
There's always looking back, there's always a better opportunity to see all the decisions we made. But I tell you, as a force, every time we are deployed, there's an assessment done. There's a map analysis of our flight route, and that was done. And the decision to go into that area was a decision made by the persons who would have been assessing the safety of that flight. And I'm trusting the judgment, the initiative, the experience of those officers who would have planned and execute and conduct that flight, that they made a decision that consider all safety parameters.
The Guyana Defence Force, in a statement, extends its deepest gratitude to the search and rescue team for their tireless efforts, working around the clock to navigate adverse conditions and challenging circumstances. The next phase of the operation, according to the GDF, involves extracting the bodies from the area, followed by the commencement of an investigation into the incident. Travis Chase, HGP Nightly News.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick,
in association with our friends at
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Guyana shines with 8 awards at 50th CXC Regional Ceremony. Hosting the prestigious event at the Natural Culture Center on Thursday evening, Guyana achieved remarkable success, securing 8 awards for exceptional performances in various subjects. Renata Burnett of HGP Nightly News reports on this significant accomplishment and the details of the ceremony.
The Ministry of Education, in collaboration with the Caribbean Examination Council, CXC, hosted the 5th Caribbean Advanced Proficiency Examination and Caribbean Secondary Examination Certificate Awards ceremony. Minister of Education Priya Manik-Chan, in her address, said the ceremony was not just about recognizing academic excellence, but also celebrating the power of knowledge, the pursuit of wisdom, and the transformative impact of education. She further added that the awards received are not just accolades, but symbols of the potential that resides within each student. The minister also acknowledged the pivotal role played by dedicated educators, supportive families, and the entire academic community.
Your guidance, encouragement, and unwavering support have been instrumental in shaping the academic landscape that has allowed these students to flourish.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Brigadier Retired Mark Phillips, in his feature address, stated that the success of these awardees serves as a reminder of the immense potential within the Caribbean.
Despite the region's smallness and economic limitations, our region has historically and consistently invested in harnessing its human resources and produced exceptional scholars.
In expressing delight to host the awards ceremony, the Prime Minister reaffirmed Guyana's commitment to supporting the Caribbean Examination Council and pledged to maintain an active participation in the work of the Council. 12 students were awarded for their outstanding performances in various subject areas, with Guyana copying a total of 8 awards. Notably, the Anna Regina Secondary School on the Essequibo Coast was awarded CXC School of the Year. Renata Burnett, reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
In the meantime, CARICOM's Eminent Persons Group has returned to Haiti. More in this TTT News item.
The group includes former Prime Ministers Bruce Golding, Perry Christie, and Chairman Dr. Kenny Anthony. It is accompanied by the Secretary General's Speciation Advisor on Haiti, Ambassador Colin Grandison, CARICOM's Assistant Secretary General for Foreign and Community Relations, Elizabeth Solomon, and Project Officer Nikeva Eve Benjamin. The purpose of their return is to facilitate negotiations on a framework agreement to provide a transitional governance arrangement, which they hope will take Haiti to free and fair elections. To date, the group has already engaged in more than 5 months of consultations with a wide cross-section of Haitian stakeholders. On Friday, they began negotiations on the details of the framework agreement, which emerged from those consultations.
Former Member of Parliament for Port-au-Prince South and former government minister Marlene MacDonald has died.
The People's National Movement confirmed that Ms. MacDonald had been ailing for a short while and passed earlier on Friday. She had served at Port-au-Prince South MP from November 2007 to August 2020. She previously held the portfolios of Minister of Culture, Community Development, Housing, Public Utilities and Public Administration. And while the PNM was in opposition, the former deputy political leader served as chief whip.
In more pleasant news out of Trinidad and Tobago, that country came up for high praise at the CARICOM Single Market and Economy CSME Focal Point Attachment Program. More in this report compiled by Vivian Bowen of TTT News.
Key leaders from several CARICOM states came together in Trinidad and Tobago to learn from each other's experiences. At the closing ceremony, which took place on Friday at the Bricks Hotel, Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs Dr. Amy Brown said that the event was fruitful.
And so there was a structured program which involved technical exchanges, meetings with the Trinidad and Tobago private sector, a visit to our offices where they saw our skill certificate processing at work, and many of them said that we are so far ahead and they would be learning from our experiences.
Dr. Brown highlighted the importance of the CARICOM Single Market and Economy Focal Point Attachment Program.
So the region will be better as a result of these efforts. And I must say, as I said in my earlier remarks, sometimes we in this country are very harsh judges of ourselves. So it was really good to hear the feedback from our regional visitors.
According to Dr. Brown, there would be a follow-up session in 2024 in Barbados. He said that the session would compile of all focal points.
Where in 2024, we are moving to full free movement within the region. That's a very ambitious but important objective, which would take us a lot closer to the accomplishments of our European friends who've made that transition years ago.
The effort of the focal point was funded by the European Union and brought together several CARICOM countries, including Barbados, Jamaica, Montserrat, and Suriname in Trinidad and Tobago.
Laptops stolen from Jamaica's Stock and Securities Limited at the center of multi-billion-dollar fraud probe.
Head of the St. Andrews Central Police, Senior Superintendent Marlon Nesbitt, says an investigation is underway after items were stolen from Stock and Securities Limited Wednesday night. TVJ News understands that at least 5 laptop computers were removed from the office on Hope Road.
We are in the process now of determining, based on our interviews with persons at the entity, if that is in fact so, 1, and 2, how many of those items and any other item that might have been stolen as a fact. We are carrying out other investigative processes to determine, especially when this happened, and any other pertinent bit of information can help us as we seek to make a breakthrough in the matter.
The investment firm has been at the center of a multi-billion-dollar fraud probe. The Financial Investigations Division, FID, reported this week that the fraud is now over $30 million. Some 200 clients have been affected at the financial institution.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean.
In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more, in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.